Can Enzo Maresca be Chelsea's Mikel Arteta? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's literally been forever. I'm sorry. I've had so much going on in life and massive creative block and so much that I won't get into, but I feel back and I feel in a good place and ready to create content again, so I'm really happy about that. You'll see the quality should be a little bit better because I got my camera working, which has been not working for a really long time, so I'm really excited about that as well. And obviously there's just so much to talk about since I've last uploaded a video. So in this video I'm going to go through the appointment of Enzo Maresca and what Chelsea were looking for when they were appointing a new manager. I'm also going to go through what we can expect from him, his playing style, how he likes to line up in this video as well, and looking at some strengths and weaknesses of that style, and then what I think about this appointment. First, let's take a look at the criteria that Chelsea were looking at. There were 7 main ones. The first one was the playing style and the philosophy. The second one was being able to control games and also having defensive stability. I thought that this one was interesting because, as we know, Chelsea did concede a lot of goals this past season, so they're looking for somebody who's going to try to like stop that goal leakage. The third one, which is very interesting to me as well, is having a brand of football or style of football that's going to suit the squad that's already in place and suit the players that they're going to recruit in the future. And I thought that that was interesting because, as we know, Chelsea have been buying loads and loads of young players in the team, and sometimes it seemed like last season we didn't know what our best starting 11 would be. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out as well, because I'd like to see a brand of style going forward. I'd like to see more or less the same players getting picked and us knowing exactly like what the role of each player is, because I think that that's been a really big piece that's been missing in recent seasons. The fourth one is a desire to forge a relationship with the supporters and build a connection. Obviously for fans, this is really important. I personally really liked Poch. I think that there were people who kind of felt really strongly against him or for him. I really liked him, but obviously it just makes such a big difference as a fan when you have that connection to the manager and to the team. And I haven't had like the best connection I think I've had apart from Mourinho was with Thomas Tuchel, and so I'm really looking for that sort of connection with the manager again as well. The next point is really interesting. It says strong data on keeping players available and fit, and all of this information is from an article from The Athletic, by the way. And that point is so interesting to me because, as we know, Chelsea have just had an injury crisis, not just last season but the past 2 seasons, even 3 maybe, like since our Champions League winning run. Reece James and Ben Chilwell like haven't been fit at the same time. I think they've played a handful of games together, and we're just seeing even these players that are not injury prone, that never have had injuries in their careers, are getting injuries with Chelsea, and it's just not normal. It feels like there's something going on. It seems that the owners are trying to put this down to Poch's tactics. I know that he did have a lot of really hard training sessions, and we'll never really know if that truly contributed to injuries. If there's something with the medical team, there's been an overhaul in that department as well, I believe. But there's a lot of like moving pieces with this, so I think it'll be interesting to see with a new coach, are we still going to have that same amount of injuries, because we cannot have so many injuries this coming season as well. And then the last 2 points are a record for improving players and getting them to fulfill their potential. We thought that Poch was really going to be the person to do this. We've seen that he's, well, I don't know if he's improved Cole Palmer, if Cole Palmer was just amazing already, but he's gotten the best out of the likes of Cole Palmer, for example. I feel like we were starting to see a bit of an improvement in Mudryk, but he's somebody that I think could really benefit from having a hands-on coach. And then we just have a lot of really young talent that can be molded how the coach sees fit. Madueke comes to mind as well. Nico Jackson comes to mind. Caicedo and Enzo, who are super young. So there's just a lot of young talent that I think there's a massive opportunity to improve them and get them to play to their full potential. And then the last one is just the ability and the willingness to work within the structure that's set up at Chelsea. Now let's get into the deal. So we signed Enzo Maresca on a 5-year deal. I think there's an option to extend by 1 year as well from Leicester City. And I was personally surprised about the length of this deal. I know that Graham Potter had a really long deal, then Poch had a very short deal, and now we're going back to a long deal, and I just really hope that it works. They really need to get this right and hope that this is the manager to take Chelsea forward. I think that the owners are kind of maybe looking at Mikel Arteta and seeing how successful he's been at Arsenal, and that he trained under Pep, and Maresca has obviously trained under Pep as well and was part of that Man City team. So I think that they're trying to look for one of these younger managers that doesn't necessarily have so much experience but is going to grow within the team and really be able to show what they're capable of. In terms of Maresca's prior experience, he has just a 14 game spell at Parma, and obviously he coached Leicester this past season and took them to win the championship and get promoted back into the Premier League. So now let's get into a little bit about Maresca and what Chelsea can expect from him. So from what I've seen, he's a workaholic, and in preparation for taking over Leicester last season, he watched every single match of their relegation season, even sometimes more than once, to understand what he was getting himself into and to prepare for the team that he had at his disposal. And he also spent hours studying opposition as well. So I think like the more prepared, the better, obviously, and that was something that I really liked when researching more about Maresca for this video, is that it seems like he really takes it seriously, and he puts a lot of time and effort into that, which I think is going to, in the end, help the team and make them feel like very comfortable and know their roles in the system. For Maresca, the big thing is positional play and the intricacies of positional play. So I have a quote here, and he said, "The most important is positional play and strategy. For a coach, it's important to have the mentality of a chess player, develop a plan, study counter moves, choose the arrangement of the pieces." And I really liked this quote because it did feel like a lot of times last season Chelsea were relying on Cole Palmer to bail us out of situations. We had a lot of like late minute winners where we were tying a game or even losing a game and then went on to tie the game, where we got points in the last minutes of the game from just some magic that some player created. And we often, not just last year but for the past couple of years, have really struggled to break down opposition teams in a low block. So I really like that he says this and that he has that mentality as well. He also has the way that he likes to play, but he's not afraid to look for a plan B and implement that plan B. So how does Maresca typically line up? It usually is, at least last season for Leicester, a 4-3-3, which then converts to a 3-2-5 when in possession. And what he does is he inverts the right back to form another player in that midfield, and then that allows the aides to push further up the pitch as well. So he's all about trying to find numerical advantages, push forward, keep the ball, and try to break down opponents in that sense. And then when the team's out of position, last season Leicester tried to counter press quickly to win the ball back in dangerous areas and press high up the pitch as well. However, this system could be high risk. Leicester's press baiting last season did lead to 24 errors when playing out from the back, which was the highest in the championship, and that's kind of similar to how I felt, at least, about Chelsea. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it did make me very nervous when we were playing out of the back, because I felt like we were pressured into some not so great situations, and the opponents did force errors from us that probably could have been avoided as well. So that's definitely something to look out for. So all in all, I definitely think that it's an interesting appointment for Chelsea. This is a manager who doesn't have so much experience in the top flight, but obviously he was a student of Pep, so he has that going for him. And honestly, the way that I've seen Mikel Arteta get on at Arsenal, I do feel like from what I've read, maybe this could work out. I'm definitely trying to be optimistic, but I do think it's going to take a couple of seasons. We've seen that Chelsea got 6th last season, which was really insane considering that we were in 10th, 11th for the majority of the season. But I feel like there's some interesting things there and definitely things to get hyped about. I'm a little bit worried that it becomes a little bit boring and that we're not able to break down teams, but that's more of an issue that Chelsea have had over the past couple of seasons. So I think like that's something that's definitely going to need to be worked on in this season, just creating the chances and then obviously making sure to take the chances, because how many times did we say that we created so much but then we just didn't do anything with those chances. So I'm excited about the appointment. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns. It's a young manager with not as much experience, and it's a risk. It definitely is a risk, but Chelsea really needs this to pay off. We cannot keep just slashing managers and chopping and changing. Like, I really want something that's long term. I don't think that it's going to happen overnight, but this project has been going on for a couple of years already, so we really need to start making some progress with it. I personally think that we have really good talent in the team. They just need time to adjust to the Premier League and time to adjust to a new system and a new style of play, but I'm hoping that we can pick up where we left off last season and build from there, and the aim should at the very least be top 4 for this season. So let's see if he'll be up for it. Time will tell. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this managerial appointment. I'll be back with another video tomorrow dictating how I think that Chelsea line up under Maresca. And yeah, just let me know all of your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again for being patient with me while I get back, and hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you're watching this. And until next time, I'm out. Bye.